everyone. I'm Mr. Roshan Parmar from PIT TS Computer Engineering Department. And on behalf of the Parallel University and PU webinar series, I would like to introduce Professor Haris Rathod. Um, Sir is the professor at Government Polytechnic Himmatnagar, and he has the experience of more than 10 years. And his expertise in artificial intelligence and machine learning and has been doing research on the same subject from a very long time, and he has been presented more than 5 research papers on various respected journals. So I would like to welcome Haris sir to this webinar series, and I would like him to share his knowledge on Python with all of us. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, and giving me such opportunity. And I'm going to start my session. So, does my screen is visible to you, sir?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay. And all the students are logged in, sir?
Yes, sir. They have been joined us with webinar live webinar on a Facebook. So we are streaming live on
Okay.
Facebook right now.
Okay, thank you. So now let's start our session. Uh, Good morning to everyone. So today we are going to discuss on basics of Python programming, right? So once we complete this session, all the students or you will be able to understand the basic syntax of Python program and how to design a basic programming Python. I am going to discuss very basic things in this webinar. Okay. So a prerequisite for this to understand the Python is basic mathematics knowledge and a basic understanding of computer programming terminology. For example, data type, variable, loop, and etc. Because if we are not aware this some basic terminology, it will be very difficult for us, and it is a programming language. Of course we have to apply some logic and mathematical work with mathematical operations, so basic mathematics knowledge is must required. The topic to be covered in this session will discuss about the syntax, how to write a program, right? And then how to write a comment in Python, how to declare a variable in Python, data type support by the Python programming language, how to write a strings, some of the operation can be performed on the strings. We'll cover some of the operations only, and operator support by the Pythons, and how to use if else statement, how to write if else statement, how to use loop, syntax of loop, and how to write or how to design a user defined function in Python, and class and object. That means how to create a class and how to create an object of that class, that we are going to discuss in this webinar. So let's start with the introduction. It is a general purpose interpreted programming language. Interpreted means whatever command you type, it will be execute immediately, right? And it was first created by the person whose name is Guy Van Rossum, and officially it was released in 1991. And the Python programming language is generally used for web development, software development, and mathematical applications, complex mathematical applications, and scripting programming language. So these are the purpose for the Python programming language. Now, there are various reasons to learn Python programming language. Here I am going to discuss only a few reasons, and one of the most important reason is a simple syntax. Syntax is very simple. Anyone can understand the syntax if they have doesn't knowledge of any programming language, right? And Python programming language allows a developer to write a big program in some few line also, right? And it works on different programming platform. And one of the most important reason for learning Python programming is it is open source technology. Uh, Now let's start with the installation of Python, right? So
Open source technology.
generally, am I audible clearly? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible clearly.
Okay. So many computer having already installed the Python, and if you have to check whether the Python is installed in your computer is not, we have to just run command line argument and execute the command either Python or py. So if you execute this command, it will display the version installed in your machine. For example, here I am going to your demonstration for that. Run, then execute cmp.exe. So this command line is open. Now execute py command. So press enter. So it will show you the which version is installed in your machine, and there is a 3 arrow is there and the cursor is blinking. That means we are successfully open the Python and we are ready to execute Python command. Okay. And if Python is not installed in your machine or in your computer, you can download it from the website www.python.org. It is a open source technology, so easily available from this website. Now, how to execute a Python program? So there are two modes to execute Python program. The one is interactive mode. So in interactive mode, it is used to test a small amount of code. That means a single command can be executed and we can test the result. So for that interactive mode, first of all, we have to open command line as I show you before a few minutes. Then open Python and execute the Python command. While in scripting mode, it is a group of Python command which is written in a single file, and we have to save that file and execute that file. So a script mode is used to test a large amount of code, right? So for that we have to open a command line, then navigate the directory where we will store our Python program, and open that Python file, and your code will be executed. Let's a small demonstration for that. So here I already opened Python. Now execute one command. That is example of interactive mode. Just write print and hello inside that print function and enter. So here we execute a print command. So similarly, you can execute more and more commands. Now in interactive mode, a Python program can be written in any text editor, right? But the condition is we have to save that file with py.py extension. For example, here I'm going to do addition of two numbers. Simple x is equal to 10. That means I'm writing one command over here. Now second command, y is equal to 20. Then z is equal to x plus y, and print z, right? So and save this program with directory D drive, webinar folder, and the name of file is demo.py, and here Python. Python file. Here I am using a Notepad++ text editor. You can use any text editor. Now it's time to execute this file. First of all, I have to exit from this mode. Okay. So once your command prompt is open, navigate the directory where our Python program is stored. So in my case, D directory, cd webinar, and the name of file is demo.py. You can see over here, demo.py. So all the command which is written inside the demo.py will be executed one by one, and the result will be displayed. So you can see the result is 30 is displayed. So these are the two ways to execute Python program. Now moving to ahead. So here example of interactive mode, which I already explained you, and example of execute scripting mode, right? Now syntax. So how to write syntax is nothing but it indicates how to write a program in Python, or it is a set of rules to write a program in Python. So it has some similarities to the English language. That means the syntax of Python language is similar to English language. It is very easy, and it uses a new line to complete the command, while in case of any other programming language like C, we will use a semicolon to complete the statement. Right? So in Python program, to complete the statement, we have to just press enter, right? If you press enter, the Python will understand that particular statement is ended or completed, right? And no need to write some parentheses or some semicolon, etc. And one more thing, this Python programming language is a totally case sensitive language, right? So before going to discuss syntax in a detail, I want to show you some similarities and difference between Python program and C program. So on left hand side of your screen, I have write two statements in Python program, and on right hand side, I have write two statements in C program. So the similarity is, you can see over here, similarity in the first statement, the message is written in a double quotation in both programming language, Python and C program, right? And in Python, the message can also be written in a single quotation, that is in the second statement, right? So this is the similarity. Why I am showing to this similarity? Because we are already familiar with C program. That's why I am a little bit comparison with C program here, right? Now look at the output side. The output of both print statement is written in a two different line. It will be print in a two different line. C programming, the output is written in a single line, right? So from this output, we can say that in Python program, print statement by default contain a new line character, while in case of C program, we have to put a new line character manually, right? And in Python programming, we can also put a new line character if we want one more extra space, right? So this is a basic similarity here. Just wait a minute. Okay. Now start with the indentation. So indentation is most important over here because the indentation indicate the block of code in Python, while in case of another programming language, it is just used for readability. And indentation means we have to leave some space at the beginning of the code line. And generally this indentation is used in a if statement, while loop, for loop, and user-defined function, class and object, where we have to mention a body of that particular statement, right? Otherwise, no need to write a indentation. Indentation we have to write only in case where the statement having a body, right? For example, if statement, if condition is true, some of the statement will execute. So that some of the statement is the body of the if statement. So in that case, we have to apply a indentation, right? So you can see in example 4 here, if 10 greater than 0, so the body of if statement is written with indentation, right? You can see over here, right? So on right hand side, suppose if I am not putting an indentation before the starting of line and I am trying to execute the program, it will display a syntax error. So you can see how the indentation is important in a Python program, right? So it indicates a body of the instead of we have to write a curly bracket or some other brackets, right? In if we compare with C programming language, in C programming language, if statement having more than one statement, we have to write a curly bracket, right? While in case of Python programming, no need to write curly bracket, just make an indentation before the statement, right? Now a reserve word. Python having some reserve word, so total reserve words are 30, and reserve word cannot be used as a variable name or identifier name or a function name or a class name, right? And all the reserve word must be in a lowercase letters only, right? So here the list of reserve words are there, right? Uh, Now, another important syntax is comments. Comments are most important because it used to explain the code for the programmer as well as for the third party, right? And while we execute the program, comments will be ignored by the compilers, right? So there are two ways to write a comments in Python program: single line comments and multi-line comments. So in case of single line comments, the single line comments will start with hashtag, right? And after hashtag, whatever the string will be considered as a comments. You can see in example number 5. So here, hashtag, this is a single line comment, right? So while in case of C programming, the single line command will be start with double slash, right? Now in case of multi-line comments, it start with triple quotation, right? So here, triple quotation, number of lines which we want to make a comments, and followed by end of triple quote. So the string between these three quotes will be considered as a comments. So if we compare with C program, you can see slash star, number of lines, star slash, right? Now print function. This function is used to send an output on the output terminal, right? And as I told you earlier, it having a new line character by default, and it accepts a multiple parameters. That multiple parameter means message plus a value of variable, right? For example, I want to print a value of x, so I am writing a message value of x, then comma, then a variable x. So in that case, it will print a value of x. So here the syntax of print statement, we have to write a print keyword, right? And bracket, and inside bracket your text message, and text message will be quote with either single quote or double quotation, right? So both are valid. Okay. So for example, suppose here print hello, hello friends, right? Print double quotation, hello friends, right? Suppose x is equal to 10 and print value of x equal to comma x. The first two lines are the example of single parameter, and the line number 4 is the example of multiple parameter. So here in a line number 4, it will print the message value of x and a value of and the actual digit value of x. Now execute this program demo.py. Okay, so demo.py, it will print hello friends 2 times in a new line, and in third line value of x equal to, followed by it will print a 10, right? So this is the way to use print statement to send the output on a terminal. Now variables, how to declare a variable in a Python programming. The variable is nothing but it will reserve some memory location to store the values, and some of the space will be reserved in the memory, and the amount of space will be reserved in the memory that is based on the data type of variable. Like in C programming, if the data type is integer, 2 byte is reserved. Integer data type is float, 4 byte is reserved. So similarly in Python, the type of value we assign, according to that the memory location will be reserved, right? So unlike another programming language, in Python no need to declare a variable in advance, right? Variable will be automatically created at the time of value assigned to it at the first time, right? That means like in C language, we have to declare a variable in advance, right? And followed by we can use that variable and assign the value of that variable. While in case of Python, anytime a variable can be created and assign the value to it, right? Here, example number 8, I have declared a variable here, x is equal to 30 and y is equal to COVID. So in this case, x is equal to 30, that means we assign integer value, right? Integer value. While in case of y is equal to COVID, that means we are assigning a string, right? At the time of assigning value, its data type will be allocated. A data type will be covered later on. So here 2 example is there, and the output of that 2 example you can print in a different way, right? So you have to take care, if the value of variable is integer or a numeric value, then we have to use comma only here, right? And if the value of variable is a string or any other data type, we can use either comma or plus, right? Understand? That means if the value is numeric value, then must use comma operator. Otherwise, you can use plus operator. Now, rules for naming a variable in Python. It is similar as a C programming. So all the variable names must be start with letter or underscore, right? Variable name cannot be start with digital number, right? And variable contains only alphanumeric and underscore. Variable name does not contain any special character or special symbol. White space are not allowed while naming a variable, right? And variable name is case sensitive. That means the variable name you write in lowercase letter and uppercase letter are treated as a different variable. For example, you can see over here str, str, and str. So these three str are written in a different pattern, and all this pattern will be and all this str will be considered as a three different variables. So must remember, Python programming is a case sensitive programming language, and variables are case sensitive, and lowercase and a reserved keywords must be written in a lowercase letter only. So here are some examples for valid and invalid variables. So x equal to 10, it satisfies the rules, it is a valid variable. X1 is equal to 20, again it is satisfy the rules and it is a valid variable. Underscore x1 20, valid variable. Now this is invalid variable. This is also invalid variable because a white space between x and y, which is not permittable, right? And at the last, AB is equal to 20 is also a valid variable name. Now assign a value to a variable. A multiple variable value can also be assigned. So here in example 9, x comma y is equal to 30 comma COVID. So 30 will be assigned to x and COVID will be assigned to y, right? And in a second example here, str1 and str2 equal to Python. That means both variables having the same value, right? Global variable, that is a scope of variable, right? So the variable which is declared or created outside the function is known as a global variable, right? And that global variable can be used by everyone, right? We all are aware with a global variable. Now let's see one example in Python how to declare a global variable. So here x is written outside the function my function, right? And I'm going to print a value of x inside the my function, right? And at the time of calling my function, it will print the value of x, and here x is a global variable, right? Let me show you one demonstration for this, so you will be better understand. Suppose x is equal to 20. Now I'm going to declare one function def my function, right? And semicolon. Later on I'll explain the syntax. Now make indent because a function having a body, so I have to make an indent. Now print value of x inside function, right, comma x. Okay, now I'm going to call this function my function, right? And again I'm going to print value of x outside the function, comma x. Okay, the result will be the same, right? Okay, now execute demo.py. So you can see value of x inside function and value of x outside the function, that is global variable, right? Now sometime what happen, we have to create a global variable inside the function. generally whatever the variable we declared inside the function is local variable. For example, suppose I am declare y is equal to 10. So here y is local variable, right? Y is local variable. Now suppose I want to make y as a global, so I have to use global keyword. Global keyword and y is equal to 10. So now in this case, y will become a global, and outside the function I can access the value of y also. So print value of y equal to comma y. Now execute. Okay. This is the way to make a variable global in a Python. Use global keyword if we want to make a variable global inside a function. We already covered this point. Now data type. So some of the standard data types are text type, numeric type, sequence type, mapping, boolean, and set type. Here we discuss only a text data type, right? So to get the data type, we use a type function. That means to retrieve a data type. In C language, we have to manually write a data type, for example, int, float, character, etc. But in case of Python, we are directly assign a value to a variable. So how does we come to know that which data type assigned to that particular variable? So to know that, we have to use a type function, right? We have to use this type function. So it will return a data type of that particular variable. So in example number 13, x is equal to 10. That means a numeric value is assigned, but a numeric value may be integer, float, or complex, right? So y is equal to Python. It is a string. Now to get a data type of x and y, inside a print, I am going to write type x and print type y. So it will return the data type of particular variable. So here int, that means x having a integer data type and y having a string data type, right? We can manually set the data type also using like here a is equal to float x. So here type conversion, x is equal to 10, and that float value, we can convert this integer into float and assign in a variable a, right? Now string, we all know how to write a string. That means whatever the alphabets or alphanumerical characters are quoted in a double quote or single quote is known as a string, right? So in Python, string can be written in a two-way, either single quote or double quote, right? And we can directly write a string in a print function also, right? Now, how to assign a string to a variable? It is very simple. We have to write a variable name followed by equal to sign and followed by whatever the string you want to assign. So here str1 is equal to Python, str2 is equal to webinar, right? You can write anyway, either single quote or double quote, and this is hosted by Harish Rathod, right? And you can print like this way: print str1, print str2, print str3, like this. Yeah. Okay, so we can write a multiple line in a string also, right? So for that we have to use a triple quotation. For example, now let me show you a small demo. Suppose str is equal to I want to store multiple line. Hello friends, good afternoon. How are you? So in str variable, it will store a multiple line string. Now I'm going to print str. Right? It will display multiple line. Hello friends, good afternoon. How are you all? Okay. So here a string is nothing but it is a array, right? And in individual character can also be accessed by the index number also, right? For example, suppose I am going to print str of 3. So the character at index number 3 will be print. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So L second L at the index number 3. So L will be print. Okay. Okay. Here in example 18, str of 2. So B is printing. Right. Now string length. So len function can be used to return the total number of character in a given string. Right, as we use str len function in a C programming language, here we use len function, right? So it will return a length of a given string. For example, x is equal to len of str, right? And print length of string is equal to comma x. So it will return total number of character including white space. Now, the length of string is 45. Okay. Now slicing the string, that means some of the character, if we want to return some of the character from the original string, you can, right? So slice will be separated by a colon, and we have to provide a range from where to where character to be print, right? Here, for example, suppose I want to print 1 to 4 character. So here the 4 will be excluded. So we have to given 1 plus extra number. Suppose I want to print first 4 character, the range will be 1 to 5, right? So 5 will be excluded and the first 4 character will be displayed. For example, here in str webinar on Python, and suppose I am slicing 1 gem 4. 1 gem4, that means a 3 character will be displayed, right? 1 and 4 will be excluded, so this 3 character will be displayed, right? So there are various patterns for slicing. You can use as per your requirement or as per your programming requirement. You can use any slicing, right? Negative index. One more important things in Python, it support a negative index, while in case of C programming, negative index is not supported. So here negative index means the string will be print from reverse side, right? So whatever the character you return from the reverse side, according to that we have to given here a slicing. So -5 gem -2, that means it will leave the last 2 character and remaining character will be displayed up to the 5th position, right? That means the last 5 character will be selected, and out of last 5 character, the last 2 character will be ignored, because here we write -2. So last 2 character will be ignored, and -5, that means 5th up to 5th position, right? Now operators. So PHP support arithmetic operator, comparison operator, assignment operator, logical, bitwise, membership, and identity. So here identity and membership operators are new for us. So we will focus on identity and membership operator only. And arithmetic, there are one more operator is that we'll discuss that. So in arithmetic operator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, similarly as a C language, right? So in exponential, we have to use a double star, right? While in case of C language, we will use this sign, while in case of Python, we'll use a double star. So this is the little bit difference. Now, one more operator in arithmetic is floor division, right? So a floor division will divide 2 values and it will return a nearest lowest value. For example, here x is equal to 23 and y is equal to 4. Now I'm going to divide x by y. So the answer will be 5.75, and if I'm going to use floor division, so it will return 5, because the functionality of floor division is it return nearest lowest value. So 5.75 is the actual value, and the nearest lowest of 7.5 is 5. So the answer will be 5. Yeah, example is there, right? Now assignment operator. So all the assignment operator are similar as a C programming language. So I think no need to discuss it in detail, right? If you see the example, you can easily understand it, right? Here floor division can also be used as an assign operator, right? Comparison operator, same as a C programming language. Equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than equal to, not equal to, right? So here I am giving example and its result. Print x equal to y. So the result is false because x equal to 5 and y is equal to 3. Both are not equal. So result is false. So accordingly it will display the result. Right? Example of comparison operator. Now logical operator, and or not. We are also familiar with this logical operator with C programming language. So again, I think no need to explain in detail. So and it return true if both statements are true. So here condition 1 and condition 2. If the answer of both condition is true, then and only then it will return true. Or So condition 1, condition true. If the answer of any one condition is true, it will return true. And not means it will reverse the result. If your result is true, it will return false. And if result is false, it will return true. Now identity operator. It compare the two objects as well as it will check for the memory location also, right? So if the value are equal and the memory locations are equal, then it will return. That means then it will return true in case of is operator, right? And if value are same but memory locations are not same, that is not that in case of in that case it will return true if the operator is not, right? Again, if operator is, so is operator return true if both variables are the same object and the memory locations are also same, it will return true, right? Is not return true if both variables are not the same object, right? Like a value same hase but in a memory location jo alag hase, so it will return false, right? So here x is equal to Ronak and Komal, right? And y is equal to also Ronak and Komal, right? So here value of x and y both are same, but in this case location of x and y are different, right? Now the statement 3, z is equal to x. That means I am going to assign value of x into z, right? Now print x is y, right? X is y. Here value same but locations are different. That's why it return a false. Now x is z. So here value same as well as location are also same. So in that case it will return true. Now third statement, z is y. So here value are same but location of z and y are different, so it return false. And print x is not y, right? So in that case it will return, because x and y value same છે but in a location alag છે, so in that case it will return true. અહીંયા is not છે, બરાબર? એટલે એનો રિઝલ્ટ ઊંધું આપશે અહીંયા આગળ, right? Now membership operator, they are used to test if a sequence is present in an object or not. Generally it is used in a string. That means a particular string is exist or not. Suppose I am writing hello friends, good morning. So suppose I want to search good in that string, right? So in that case this membership operator will be used. That means to identify some substring. In operator it will return true if specified sequence is present, right? X in y. Not in. Return true if specified sequence is not present. So here one example, x is equal to Rohan comma Komal. So I am going to print Komal in x. Here I am going to check whether Komal is exist in x or not, right? So it will return true because Komal is exist, right? Now print Bhavin in x, it will return false because Bhavin does not exist in x, right? Now print Raju not in x, so it will return true because Raju does not exist in variable x, right? So bitwise operator, again bitwise operator is the same in a C programming language. Shift left, shift right, AND operator, OR operator, exclusive, XOR operator, NOT operator, right? So here x equal to 5 and perform bitwise and OR operator. X equal to 5, y is equal to 6, and here a binary representation of x and y in a 8-bit format, and I am going to perform AND operation and OR operation. We all know AND and OR operation. So here 0 1, if I am applying AND operator 0 1, it will return false. So return 0 over here. So according to that, the value is 4 and 7. Shift left operation. So it will move to position left side, right? And the rest of the position will be filled by 0. Similarly, the shift right operation can be performed. Now, important if else statement. So generally, it is used to test the logical condition. The syntax is we have to write if keyword in a lower case, followed by expression, followed by colon, right? Here a colon is compulsory, right? Followed by body of the statement with indentation. Indentation must compulsory, and if else if statement is there, we have to use keyword elif followed by expression, colon, and its body, right? Again, if body is there, make an indentation before the statement, else keyword, indentation, followed by body of else statement, right? So indentation is must important. Now let me show you one small example. I am comparing just two values. Suppose x is equal to 10. Now suppose I want to enter a value from user side. You can write int, then input, enter value of x equal to, right? Similarly, okay, yeah, y. So here we use input function to get the value from user, right? Now, if statement, if syntax, if keyword followed by condition, suppose x greater than y followed by colon. Now body of if statement, print x is large, right? And if condition x equal to y colon, print x and y are equal. Else print y is large. Print y. So here, well, statement in line number 11 is the out of if statement, right? Because I have not make an indentation before this line, so the compiler will understand that the line number 11 is outside of the print statement, right? So you can imagine that a very simple programming language is Python, right? Because no need to write some curly bracket or some parentheses, etc. Now execute. It will ask to enter value of x, suppose 56, y is equal to 89. Just printing mistake. So y is large by, right? So in this case, it executes else statement and by. Okay. A shorter hand if statement. Suppose the body of the if or else if having only one statement. In that case, you can write all if else statement in a single line, right? For example, suppose in this case we have only single statement in the body of if statement. So in that case, we can write like this. Okay. Let me show you from the beginning. If x greater than y, print x is large. Else, print sorry, column देंगे आपने. So here, just I have made one mistake. If condition is true, the statement, the first return will be execute. Mistake. Enter value of x 67, 90, y is large. Again, enter value of x 67, 45, x is large. Okay. So suppose you want to pass the statement, you can simply write a pass, right? Loop. So while loop, for loop, we know the loop will use to execute some block of code again and again, right? So in while statement, the syntax is while keyword, condition, statement, increment or decrement, then next statement, right? So similarly as a C language, right, there is no change. Okay, so here I am going to print 1 to 5, right? So I is equal to 1, while I less than 5, print value of I, then I plus plus, so it will print 1 to 5. And suppose at some point of time I want to break the loop, you can write a break statement also, right? Similarly, for loop, right? So in this case, we have to specify some range, and according to that, it will be print. Suppose student underscore list, and there are 3 students. So for x in student underscore list, print x, it will print 1 by 1 name of the student, right? It is so simple. X is the loop variable. Generally, we use I in case of C programming language. So here X is the loop variable, right? So at the first iteration, first time the value of x is Ronak, second time value of x is Mayank, and third time the value of x is Rohan, right? Similarly, single string also. This is in case of array. આ array છે, આ single string ના કેસમાં છે. So it will print a 1 by 1 character, right? Suppose you want to print a numeric value for some specific range, x in range, right? 6, so 0 to 5, right? Suppose I want to print 1 to 20 in step of 4. So 1, 21 and step of 4, right? And here 20, suppose I am writing 21, so 21 will be excluded. A reverse, right? Negative index, 5 to 1. So 5 comma 0 minus 1. So it will print 5 to 1, right? A break statement can also be used, right? User defined function, very quick. It is a block of code. The syntax is def keyword followed by name of the function. A list of arguments are optional and each argument separated by a comma followed by colon, and its body, number of statements, right? And at the time of calling a function, we need to write a name of the function only, right? For example, here def my function print Python webinar, and here I am calling my function, right? Now class and object. So Python is an object-oriented programming language, right? Almost everything, if we do at the advanced level programming, everything is a class and object, right? So it is similar to as a C++, right? We have to use class keyword followed by class name, colon, and members of class, and at the time of assign of object, name of the object equal to sign followed by name of the class. So here class student, right, where class is a keyword and student is the name of the class, and these are the two member of the class, name and ENR, where name is Ram and ENR is equal to 20. Now here I am create an object S1, and using S1 I will access the member of student. So like a C language, print student name plus S1 dot name, right? Why I am using plus? Because S1 dot name is a Ram, right? Okay, so here we finish our session. Hello sir. Hello. हाँ થઈ ગયું. So, do you have any question? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I hope these students understand this well, and thank
Yes,
you so
sir.
much for joining us.
Okay, yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you again.
Okay, sir. Have a nice day.
Okay, okay. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you provide me a feedback later on?
Yes, sir. Sure. Actually, we have
Okay.
generated a feedback form. Once I get
Yes.
the responses from the student, we'll forward it to you.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you.